Hi everybody. We're just kind of hanging out, waiting for some people to get on. We're a little early because I want to make sure Gordon gets in. Gordon, when you're out on my page or out there, just give me a thumbs up so I can invite you in. Or you can request me, Gordon, however you want to do it. I see some of you coming on. We're just going to hang out for a few. Sorry, my birds are screaming in the background. You can probably hear them. Woo-hoo. Exciting. The sun's shining. It's so nice out. Okay. Gordon, if you're out there, say hi or invite in, however you want to do it. I see Jessica and Sandy. Ooh, Debbie, hi. Okay. I may disappear for a few folks until we get Gordon in. There he is. I'm going to add him. Gordon, you should be getting a request now. Hey there.
Hello. Hang on.
Easy.
That's better.
Even in Mercury retrograde, that was pretty easy.
Well, that's a first. I have to say, that's a first. I'm having trouble with the camera, so
yeah.
Also.
I'm just trying to kind of adjust volume. I'm waiting for some people to get on. Folks, one thing I want to cover, and I will repeat it. If we get what we call trolls that come on, those are when you get those crazy replies that say DM me under your name if you want a reading. If you're on here a lot of times, they're real active. They must be bored because of the pandemic. That's all I can figure. So they come on. I will try, if I see them, I will try to get them off. The biggest thing is just ignore them, and I will take them off later if I can't get them off right when we're doing it, if it, but I just don't want anybody to DM them or send them any money or think that that's coming from Gordon or myself. We're not replying like that it says DM you for a reading. Okay, so if you get anything like that from crazy people, just ignore it. Because I know some of you get confused by that. So Gordon, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm just trying to figure a way of getting this phone supported. Are you on your desktop, are you? Or are you on the phone?
I'm on the phone. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to have one of these bits on the phone where you could turn it any other way, but I've just got a new phone, and hence not going very far to get the the wallet, if you like. I can't turn it. I can't sort of turn it. Oh, wait a minute. No, then you're the wrong way then. Otherwise, I just put it over the screen. Otherwise, I got you on one side. Let me try and find something a bit bigger to collect it to.
This is why we came on a little early, just to kind of get everything adjusted. Folks, share our feed out, if you will. Just like Amy, I see you out there. I'm seeing all kinds of people out there. So again, reminder for the trolls. Just please.
They won't be bothering us. I
will try to get them off. You look good. I can see you.
Yeah, thank you. You too.
Yeah.
Get a straight view as opposed to one that's sort of going pointing skywards, but I'm struggling.
Comfortable. We have some time yet. We have a few minutes. Give up some hearts. Guys, share it out. I'll let Gordon kind of get working there. I want to check one thing, so I will be right back.
Right, I think that's a bit better. There we are. Yeah, there we are. Oh, now she's gone. Just staring straight at the at the side there. So, what are we going to be doing tonight? Well, we're going to be doing some readings. I hope. Just wait for the main lady to return. Doing some readings. We'll also look at some astrology, past lives, bit of mediumship, bit of tarot. that sort of stuff. That's really what we're aiming for. So yeah, guys, just keep it coming in, keep the questions coming in. I believe actually we can pull some of you guys in as well, actually, into the room, which would be very interesting. So maybe some one-to-one readings. So yeah, my main lady has disappeared, so I'm just trying to hold the show. Does it look as though I'm just mumbling and carrying on and trying to fill in? So what 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 are you guys like? I mean, I'm broadcasting out from the good old UK over here in Blighty, so we read things possibly slightly differently. But has anybody got an interest in past lives? I was going to talk to you about past lives as well, wasn't I? I was just had the chart up on the I had the chart up on the screen here talking.
Can you turn your volume up just a little bit, Gordon?
Can
you turn the volume up just a little?
Yeah, look, volume. There we go. Does that make a difference? Am I coming up any louder?
Yep.
Yep. Okay. Say again.
I'm just making sure they can hear us.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Yeah, I was going to talk to you about past lives as well and some information that I found out. Obviously, no names, no pack drill, but I find that you're linked to someone that I was working with just recently. And what I like to do is just compare the charts. And lo and behold, I don't have a chart for your husband, but obviously I've got a chart for yourself because we've done some bits and pieces together. And lo and behold, I find a connection. So it just bears out that we're sort of almost born into soul groups, is how I feel. So what it would mean is that you really would feel quite at home with the person that I'm talking about, and will feel really quite a strong draw, because it's a very interesting mix, because we're talking Venus, which is all to do with love and passion, and on the outside we're also talking Mars as well. So I feel with it, I mean, I haven't looked in too deeply, but there's going to be a connection with you where you would have been very close. You could either have been part of something that where one of you was defending the other person's honor, or involved in a battle of some description where one of you, I feel, may have lost your life. But
probably me.
Well, it could well be, because you're the one with the planets that are involved, and I would say that there was quite a bit of, in one of your past lives, there would have been quite a bit of passion. So by that I mean you could have been a soldier or something, involved in something that was very close to your heart, defending something very close to your heart. And the other person that we're talking about was also involved there. So the sort of things we're talking about here are Sagittarius energy, which I was trying to Sagittarius and Scorpio. I mean, I know you're Scorpio, and this person actually is Scorpio rising, but Sagittarius and Scorpio make a very interesting mix. And a lot of it would be possibly a death that was beyond, I think it was to do with the other person, was beyond their control. So very interesting. I need to look into it a little bit deeper, but that's what past lives and astrology is.
If you have questions, guys, I'm kind of scrolling here to see if I get any feelings. And I am just going to kind of put some stuff out there. If I scroll your name and it strikes me, but make sure you keep posting those hearts. I'm kind of going through it because I'm feeling a little bit of spirit, but I'm trying to scroll through here to feel like who this would be for. And I'm thinking, Jessica, is it, I don't have my glasses on. Is it Goins or Coin? If you're out there, Jessica, just say hello, and I will kind of, give you what I'm kind of getting for you. I got the chills. So that means for me that spirit is around. And Jessica, the feeling I get with you, and if you relate to it, just please let us know. But the feeling I get with you is First off, somebody working in healthcare around you. I also get an older woman who stands beside you. So I feel like this would have to be grandma. And she keeps showing me my Aunt Millie. So I would have to say her name is Millie. Do you connect with that? And Jessica, I can't see your post right away. So, but I know you're out there. So Jessica, I'm getting a woman with Millie. Okay, I do. Would this be grandma to you, Jessica? Okay, woo, your grandma is strong, because I'll tell you what, my hair is standing up. You can't see it. I know Facebook isn't that clear, but I'm getting, she's really strong with me. She keeps just showing me also December. So there would have to be some significance, Jessica, to December. Her name was Millie, yay. And I love these validations. And if you can't validate it, folks, just don't validate it. But I can't believe how strong she is with me. Now, Jessica, do you also understand December, how she would connect with December? This would be either a birthday for me. She passed on winter solstice. Whoa, okay. So that is good. Okay, and I feel like very, very protective of you. She's so protective. I also feel I'm getting a gentleman that comes in with her, and I don't know if they're showing me dominoes. So I don't know if your name wouldn't be Domino, but if there's a connection to dominoes there. So I feel like it's like Dom, I don't know. Jessica, do you understand that? Because this gentleman is with her, also standing to your side. So Jessica, if you're there, I know you're there. Yes, Dominic, perfect. Who is Dominic, Jessica? Ooh. I'm waiting. Boy, they're dense. Can you see the comment?
Her husband, my grandfather, I think is the key. I'm trying to find it on a bigger screen so I can see the remarks.
Okay. So Jessica, let me recap for you. I have a older woman, very protective of you. Her name is Millie. She's also comes in with a man. And they showed me dominoes. So it would be, and you said Dominic. They also showed me the month of December. And I feel like, I don't know if it was, I can't get a feeling if it was grandma or a grandfather who, they live very long, like they would have been in their 90s. Can you identify with that, Jessica? They would have been in their 90s. So they lived a long time, because they're saying had an amazing life. They are just sending so much love to you. And they're also, who works in healthcare or worked in healthcare?
96, so you got the age right.
She was 96, perfect. And Jessica, who worked in healthcare, honey? Or who works in healthcare? Or did one of them work in healthcare? I'm just kind of waiting, because there was a healthcare connection for me, healthcare connection.
She works in healthcare.
Who does?
Jessica.
Okay, because there's a sign of, they're putting the Red Cross all around you. There's also a sign of protecting you. So they're wrapping their arms around you, and much protection. So my love, thank you for letting me channel them. And boy, they came in so strong, and just sending that message to you. Woo, that was awesome. So I'm really liking that. That's how I work.
As you were in there, that's really fast. It's absolutely great. A wonderful demonstration there. I keep getting brother and grandfather is what I want to say. And I feel here that I want to reach out to someone that would have a brother in spirit. And it feels to me as though this gentleman either hasn't passed that long ago, or is looking to connect to say that I've actually arrived. Would anybody understand that there, please? Someone that has had a brother pass to spirit. Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you. I'm just...
Yeah, you can hear. Okay. This is going to be a brother that is passed to spirit. Now, I also feel with this, that as this brother passes to spirit, he is there with a grandfather figure. And I want to be talking to this gentleman's sister is what this guy is talking to me. Can anybody understand that as a connection, please? I've also got the initial G that links with this. Tracy, you're saying mine did. Would you understand, please, that the brother would have taken, if this was for you, Tracy, that the brother would have taken a little bit of while to pass to spirit, is what this is the image that I'm getting here. But I know that there's also messages here, I feel, with a mother that is on the earth plane, and this gentleman is coming through here and saying he wishes well around the mother. So I feel that there could be a birthday or an anniversary that is coming up. My mother died and my other brother's name is Gary. Okay. The important thing is here is what I want to say. He is with grandfather. Now the grandfather is a very yes, Brandon. Okay, Tracy, I feel I am with you. If you can just connect with the I want to say the symptoms I'm giving you. It's not the symptoms. It's the line that I give. The grandfather is very, very strong here as well. Now, if it is with you, Tracy, there will be a mother, I feel, still alive on the earth plane, i.e. still with us, but there will be a birthday or an anniversary that's not very far away. It may have just been or is coming up. Can you understand that, Tracy, if I'm with you? Brother sends lots of love. That's one thing that I do say. The grandfather is very close to you as well. And I also want to bring in here that there would either be a house move around you, or there would be decisions that need to be made around you, and they are with you. They are very much with you, egging you on, as we would say here in the UK, and is saying that things are going to be fine. It feels to me like it's a move. That's what it feels to me like. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Excellent. Excellent. Woo.
My God, it's coming up March. Yeah. Okay. Lovely. Yes. Brilliant. I'll be with you, Tracy. Tracy, are you moving? Sorry. Are you moving or doing something around your home at this particular time? Because that's the impression that I'm giving you, and they want to give you encouragement that you have made the right decision. Would you understand that, please? I know it's great for you guys typing. Yeah, Tracy, thank you very much. Lovely. Thanks for working with me.
Great, Tracy. So Jessica and Tracy, I'm glad that you could connect. Now, how it works for me, I don't know, Gordon, but how mediumship works for me, it's a real distinctive feeling for me. You know, I know when I start to get the chills in my body. It's way different than like normal chills, but I know when I start to get the chills that spirit is arrived, and you know, that's how I kind of connect. And I see a lot of you, I'm just kind of going with what I get. I wish I could like pick you out and say, okay, Bev, I'm going to give you a reading, but it doesn't work that way. I just it kind of comes randomly. I feel for me, Gordon, that spirit really picks who's getting that reading or who needs it. Does it work the same for you?
It sort of does. It goes in various ways. What I tend to do, I work in lots of different ways. So if I'm doing, as you guys call, gallery, then I would either bring people just as I have done there, i.e. they come through to me and want to speak to someone, or sometimes you can work with someone. I've got to be careful that I'm looking at you. I don't want to send stuff off of you, so I'm trying to look at the screen that is coming up, and also just feeling what is coming in. But it tends to come in quite a rush. I have to say the energy is quite good. I feel this evening it's quite intense, and it's just like listening to a lot of telephones. That's how I feel at this particular moment in time, and it's trying to work out what the voices are saying, or what the impressions are saying, because that's the way I work with impressions, and also trying to work with, maybe we should bring someone into the room. I don't know if we can bring anybody in. Can we bring someone?
We can only bring two, and I wish we could. And I'm thinking of that. We're gonna, you know, I think Gordon and I are going to kind of be working on another platform also. And I'm thinking, Gordon, maybe that's where we do the Zoom and do like a small gallery of like 20 to where we can all kind of be there. Because it's so hard, guys, to do mediumship this way for me, because like I said, I'm trying to focus, but I'm also trying to look up the names and comments, because if I connect to people, and I will say, no, you don't call them galleries in the UK, do you?
No, just call them. I could have told you. I keep getting this. I got this dog. You know, when I do readings, the way that I say about it is like having a three-way conversation. You know, you'll be talking to you, and as I'm talking to you, I'm getting other bits and pieces in, and I'm trying to filter those through. And the biggest thing that I'm getting here is a dog that has passed a spirit. I've got a greyish coloured dog. Sometimes the colours aren't particularly right, but no. In answer to your question, it isn't called a gallery. It's called a oh God, it will come to me. You can see my mind is in free will. What do we call it? We call it an evening clairvoyance, or an evening of mediumship. That's
okay.
what it is. So it's not much a gallery, yeah. But can anybody understand? Because I know this is going to lead on to something else. Can anyone understand a dog, please, amongst you guys that has passed to spirit? And I feel this is for a female, it's not for a male, because this links in with there's a gentleman with this animal that has passed to spirit quite some time ago, and the person that I need to speak to, I feel, has either been feeling lonely or has been feeling particularly low, especially over the last 3 to 4 weeks. With this dog comes a father. It's a father is what I've got here, and it is to reach out to a daughter, please. So I want to speak to a daughter that has lost a father, and I feel this was a condition with cancer, or I feel this was also to do with being at distance, and you weren't able to be around this gentleman as he was passing to spirit. So it comes in 2 areas. Now, I know this lady that I need to speak to, so listen carefully to where we go. This lady's been particularly low. He's shown me the last 3 to 4 weeks, and I know there's no birthdays or anniversaries or anything around this time of year to connect, but this gentleman has been around you, and you would have either felt okay, so we got a few there. Have you felt a loss in temperature that has been around you over the last 3 to 4 weeks? Is very, very important, very pertinent, because he shows me you looking out of a window, you looking across almost, I wouldn't say desolate land, but looking out and feeling particularly lonely. This gentleman is with the animal. I feel the animal wouldn't have passed that long ago, but this message to the daughter, I'm sorry I haven't got a name with this one. Your grandfather passed away. I'm from Australia. Okay, Nicola. If it was with you, Nicola, I do feel with this, as I said, there have been a sense of loneliness the last 3 to 4 weeks, and not only that, there would have been a sense of trying to say, well, why don't you make yourself known? Why don't you show yourself to me? And this gentleman is saying, because when he was on the earth plane, he was quite mild-mannered. He wasn't someone that went out and made made big marks everywhere. He was quite the gentleman, is the way that this man describes himself to me. But what he wants to say is that he is around you and he understands. Can anybody please work with that one? And does it make sense? Your father passed from cancer, Laurie. Okay. Is there a dog connected with this passing? Because the dog would have passed after your father would have passed to spirit. Your father was a very gentle man. He's not someone, as I said, that would be particularly outward going. True gentleman. Nicholas is one between the two. Okay, give me something else. There would have been a major birthday this year for the person that I'm talking about, with I feel a mother or a female on the earth plane. There would have been a major birthday this year, either the 50 or the 61 with a 0 on. Would that sort it for somebody there, please? I'm talking. Sorry, say.
Gray dog, you said?
It feels like a grey dog to me. That's what it feels like. But colours are often a little. They don't. There's grey and black involved in this, but they don't often give me the full colours. All I know is I want to reach out and okay, I lost my dad 30 years ago, but my mum is sick now, and I feel like my dad has been around. We had a great dog as a child, and I just turned 60. I want to say Bev is where I want to go, because you've ticked the boxes. When they come through with me, I have a three-way conversation. You know, I'm doing what I'm doing now. I'm listening to what I'm being told, but normally I have to tick all of the boxes. I also want to say that there will be birthdays around July, or July will be significant. Bev will be the last part, so there will be 2 birthdays or anniversaries around July, and all he wants to say, he wants to come through, he wants to say he loves you, he is close to you. Now, I know if it was for you that mum would have been particularly unwell, and I want to say it's around the neck or the throat area is where I want to say. I'm going to leave that with you, and hopefully you'll get some more comments coming up, but I'm really feeling drawn to that. I lost the name now. I think it's Bev. Really feeling drawn to you. Thanks so much for working with me.
Awesome. That was great. Okay, let me just kind of scroll here, because I'm still I'm looking for names that might pop out to me. Because I want to say, now a lot of people say I'm pretty good with names. A lot of people say that they won't give names if they're like John or Debbie or, you know, common names. You know, if I have your grandmother here and her name was Betty, or her name was, you know, or your grandfather and his name was John, I'm going to tell you that because that's their name. Hopefully I give you enough information that it doesn't really matter if, and I want to say, I feel Sharon, right. I feel I'm with you. I see a little picture of Elvis there. So I think that's who I'm with. And I don't know, Sharon said, can I get a reading? I can't see or hear anything you are saying. It's not working. I'm not sure why your voice isn't working, Sharon, but I am going to put out what I'm getting here. And maybe you can go back and you can kind of watch that later. Unfortunately, if you can't hear us, you won't get the validation. But I do feel I'm with Sharon, right? And I do feel, Sharon, that a father steps forward for me. And I also feel the name John. So this would be, I know that's a common name, but I do feel the name John. He comes through as being very frail. He has glasses on. I do feel his soul, I feel, was very old. I mean, I'm saying almost like 100. He was old. And I also feel, sorry to those of you who are 100, I also get October around him. And I feel like he's been gone or past probably about maybe 2 years, 3 years. But I feel like, Sharon, that this is connected to you. So I do feel, and somebody's kind of talking to Sharon to kind of get her to, she probably just has us muted for some reason. But I do get John. I also, with this Sharon, I do get a December connection. So for me, when I get months, the December would be something where either birthday, anniversary, a part where he passed away from. So I do get December. He's also wishing someone a happy birthday. He's handing out white roses for me, and that's my thing for happy birthday. And it's not his birthday. It would be more like he's wishing you a happy birthday. And he puts October, highlights October for me. So Sharon, I feel like I'm with you. I hope at some point you can validate that once you get it on mute. The good thing is we'll have this up so we can, you know, you can. Okay. Whew. And if anybody knows Sharon and can validate that for us, just come on. And Vera, you just lost a German Shepherd. I'm so sorry. I'm kind of scrolling through the messages. I don't mean to be right up in your faces. But yeah, I do feel, yeah, and Grandpa, our father, Sharon, is so strong with me. And I feel also, I don't know, I just keep seeing a wheelchair. So I feel like he would have had trouble walking or really needed assistance with walking as well. So I will leave that with you. So there we go. Now, guys, if you have any other questions, it doesn't have to be mediumship. This is just kind of what I'm getting and what Gordon's getting. But we, you know, if you have questions about anything else, just throw it out there. We'll try to answer that for you as well. So I want to just say, and I wrote it down, you know, those of you who have Netflix, there is a great, because I always talk about meditation, and there is a great, it's called Headspace Guide to Meditation, and it's on Netflix. I think it's like 6 or 7 series, but the guy who has it, he was a Buddhist. I'll tell you, it's the best intro to meditation that I've seen. He goes through guided meditations with you. He really explains what meditation can do for you. And if you're one of my clients or had a reading with me, you know I'm a big harper on meditation, or if you've attended one of my classes. And Gordon, I think you'd agree with me, you know, without meditation, we couldn't do mediumship.
No, you couldn't. No, I mean, I'm actually trying to concentrate also on one particular person. One of my, what I've tried to do is develop artistry with, by working with spirit to draw people. That's my aim, to draw the faces and things that I see. I've got an uncanny ability to say, oh, she looks like her mother, or she looks like the father. Of course, my wife said, well, I don't know. You look at a newsread and say, oh, goodness me, you know, it looks just like his mother. Where do I know? I don't know what his mother looks like. And the idea being from that you can get a spirit impression. But as you're right, because the problem occurs is that you do need meditation, and you need meditation on a regular basis, because you need to step aside from your actual mind. And as soon as the difficulty with mediumship is that, and I'm sure you'll agree with me on this one, Carla, as soon as you put your own spin on it, as soon as you think, oh, I think I've got a grandfather or a father or whatever, that's when the wheels fall off, and you can do great up to that. So the idea being, we need to step outside of ourselves. We need to not be thinking like we're thinking now. And you can do, some people have trouble with meditation, but you know, you can be doing ironing, you can be doing gardening or something, and that's almost equivalent to meditation, because if your mind is allowed to free will, then you can bring in all sorts of other pieces, and that to me is where mediumship takes place. So you're absolutely spot on. Meditation has to be, but some people I know, when I run circles, they've said, oh, I can't do this and I can't do that. It's because you're trying too hard. And maybe a lot of people can relate to that when they say, no, I can't meditate because I keep thinking of the shopping, I keep thinking of this. So try it in different ways. Try and defeat the brain. Try and defeat thinking just purely for what you need to do, because you really do come alive when you allow yourself to speak freely. I mean, obviously you've got it down to such a fine art with names and bits and pieces. I find it more tricky with names. I just work in different ways. I try and get ticks in boxes. So I've tried names, and sometimes they're right. Sometimes they're right with ages as well. But I'm a bit more analytical probably than you. I take a lot longer to step aside. But I am drawn, I have to say, to Deborah Kinney, who was I think that's how you pronounce her name, or Kinney, I think it is, as it's been going up and down, because, you know, I noticed you said, have you got any messages from my son Ian, lost in a tragic car accident in 2008? Well, sometimes with mediumship, you have to be careful that you're not making suggestions. So somebody says to me, can you speak to my father who died of cancer in July the 8th or whatever? And I think one of the biggest challenges, I suppose, with mediumship is to be able to draw someone in from spirit. And I find the way that it works is a bit like everybody here now. They're sending in messages, you know, and that's what the spirit world is like. That's what's going through our mind, my mind and Carl's mind. And you've got all this saying, can I speak to someone? Can I get through? Because you've got the same problem on the other side. They're queuing up, and they've got to put a big enough implant into our minds to make us feel strong enough. And believe me, I have had some strange messages where I've turned to the audience and said, well, you know, I really don't want to run with this because this is almost embarrassing. I cannot believe that someone would want to put this in my mind. But you know, you've got to go with it. And this comes along with trying to draw people in direct. So are they jumping the queue? Are they, you know, can we bring them in and obviously separate everything out with the other messages? But I think the one thing that I do want to say, and again, that message has gone way up. I can't isolate it anymore. I don't know if Deborah is still there at all. Deborah, I think it was Deborah Kinney, Deborah Curran. I don't know if you know her. But if you are, then just, you know, send us a text. And I want to try and zoom in. I want to try and look at your picture and see whether I can do something with that request, if that request is still there. And then we can get a validation to see if the guy, because I got a real strong feeling of someone that had a lot of energy, and let me explain how I'm working with you, because all you guys can do mediumship. You know, it by training your minds, like saying you can all draw, you can all do artistry. It's about going to the art school and having a wish and a want to do it. Now, again, with Deborah, okay, let me work out. Let me work out loud. Let me work just with you, because I have to say that as I see the picture, and I see the picture of the gentleman there, it keeps whizzing, a gentleman and the lady, and I want to say the eyes of the gentleman are the bit that draws me, because that's where I get the energy. And I feel your son, and correct me if I'm wrong, tell me yay or nay. I like to work totally transparently. I feel the energy that I've got here is someone that had a lot of spirit, a lot of what I would call spunk. He wants to do things and had his own way of doing things. And I do feel with this that there has been quite a long time where this guy has been trying to make connection with you, but I don't feel that he is the most, when he was on the earth plane, I mean this in the nicest possible sense, the feeling that I get here, I'm drawn to mum is what he's saying, but he has the eyes. The eyes are very distinctive. It brings out the energy. I feel that I didn't quite know how to go about it. I feel awkward. So I feel there's been quite a bit of beating around the bush with how we dealt with grief with this. And this guy is just coming through. I wanted to say a name. It feels like an N or an it's probably wrong, but it feels like a Nick or something short. It's a short name here. But the feeling here is that I wanted to be in contact. I wanted to make connections, but it's the timing hasn't been right. I don't know whether you can validate that for me. Where's she gone? And whether you can validate that for me, it will give me some feedback on this. But I do feel this gentleman being, I call him a gentleman, a guy is what he's saying. I feel he's very down to earth, the way that he talks. There's no, he says it as it is. And I feel life around him was being said as it was. Still can't get any feedback. I'm waiting for some feedback from this lady. Come on, before I go, because the other thing that I feel here is I want to be praying. I want to be putting my hands together, and I also want to say about a change of attitude as well. This seems quite strong. It's quite a really from the gut message to say that, you know, put your mind out. Send out your thoughts and I will come in. I do feel that there's still a room or a place around where you're living at this particular moment in time that is also quite invokes the spirit of your son. If someone was only 19, loved by everyone. Great. I want to say he was quite Deborah, I want to say that the gentleman is connecting with you as I've got here. The eyes would have been quite distinctive. I also feel a lot of flowers as well around the time of his passing. But I do feel that he just wasn't able to communicate as he wanted to. I do feel he's been to you in dreams, and I do feel that there's almost been a point where you said, I'm not too sure, I'm not believing this. This guy comes, there's also another brother or a sister, please, connected with this gentleman that is still on the earth plane with you. So there is a surviving sibling, is how I feel. But I just want to say to you, Deborah, that I'm never very far away. it's opening your mind and praying is what I want to say. You must have candles around the property. You've also got letters or pieces of paper that are connected to your son as well that are still in the property. This is what he's saying to me. There's a particular fondness for roses or red flowers is also that I want to give to you. I feel that I don't quite know what about feathers? He has two brothers. That's right. Okay, it's one brother in particular, because I want to say that they either would look very similar or they were quite close. It's one brother that I want to go with. But I want to say, Deborah, is something to do with writing or paper. I don't know whether you tried automatic writing, but he left some papers behind. He left something where you could either read or papers in some shape or form. She's saying yes to that. Pray is what I want to say, because he wants to come in. He's a very gentle person. This is not the kind of person that will bash through the door and say, hello mum, yeah, I'm here, this is me. That's not him. He's almost like saying, how do I get through? How do I make myself believe? Very close to one brother. Yeah, I understand that. In fact, that one brother should have said to you that he's either seen or heard him since his passing. That, as I will say. So open your mind, open the doors, listen for sounds, and just listen for the feeling is what I want to say, Deborah. But he draws in very close. But there's an anniversary coming up as well. There's one thing I want to say. There's either a birthday or the anniversary of his death. One or the two, but there's an anniversary coming up. And I want to say he's around, and blue I feel was his favorite color. I'll leave it with that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gordon. Amazing. And as you were giving the reading, I was reading some of the questions here, and one of the questions is, you know, when spirit's lining up, do we decide who comes through or not? For me, no, I don't.
It's a free for all.
Yeah, they kind of and I just before I answer that, he was buried with a childhood feather pillow. Now I find feathers everywhere. Awesome, amazing. And see how mediumship works. I mean, you know, it's not even about you know, it's about those specific things that you know, come through that you really can relate to. And to go back to that question, when we were talking about do we pick who comes through? No, at least I don't. I feel like my work with my guides or my helpers, I call them my gatekeeper, so to speak, and they kind of bring through whoever feels that needs the message the most, or needs the healing the most for me. So I don't pick and choose. I wish I could, actually, I wish I could connect with every one of your relatives, but it doesn't work that way for me. How about for you, Gordon?
It's about the same. It is very much a free for all. That's you know, as I said, there's lots of, when you start to look at mediumship, there's lots of different styles. As I said, it's very much like looking at art. You go into a gallery and say, oh, that's impressionism, that's pointillism. And when you look at mediums working, you think, oh yeah, he works that way, they work that way. Funny, American mediums work totally different to UK mediums, just the delivery, just the way. But the overall thing is, we put our mind out and then we get field. And one of the biggest problems I find is when you get two in together and they're for two different people, and you've got to separate them. You've got to separate them out. And you also get these messages that come as you see something. So, for example, Elaine, nice German name there, Elaine Kuhn from Hanover. Yeah, it's very nice. I used to have relations in Germany. Most of them all dead now. In Hanover, in Pennsylvania, and she says, "Any messages from my husband?" And I just look at that going through, and what I see something solid. So, Elaine, I want to say to you that your husband, before he passed to spirit, you'd have had something that he would have either bought you or you'd have bought together, but it feels quite solid. So this is either a ring or a stone, and I don't think it's a ring, because it feels to me like it's been put on a shelf, or it's been put on a what do you call these things? Chest. That's the other thing. Your speech goes eventually. On a chest of drawers or something. Now, the other big thing that I want to say here is, you know, when you pass across the spirit, it's a little bit like stepping out into another world. They are there with us all the time. Now, you've got the people in this world that you could say to them, I can't think of anything off the top of my head, that they don't believe you. And that is one of the biggest problems I have with spirit, because spirit, they want to communicate to you. They want to say, don't worry about death. Death doesn't exist. It's just a transition across. But they're concerned, they're not worried, they're concerned because what they're going to be saying is going to be treated as a load of nonsense. And so therefore, sometimes you have the spirit saying, well, it's a waste of time. They're not going to believe what I tell them anyway. What do you expect to see? The hands and the, the holes in the hand. It's not a belief, it's a knowledge. And this is why I think it's so important that you guys actually go out and explore it. Explore mediumship for yourself. It's happening all the time. You can connect with someone when they've passed, one day after they've passed to 20 years after they've passed. That they're there. There's no difference. It's just you can't see them. You feel them. Some people see them. Some people smell them. I do it with feel. They blend with me, and that's why I have difficulty sometimes with names and places, because I've got to visualize the film in my eyes. So asking for age is 75, 76. You think, well, stop there. So yeah, go 75. I think he was when he passed. I'm trying to visualize the name. It's just the way that I receive it. Maybe you receive differently. I think you probably do. I think you probably hear, actually. I don't hear. I feel
think
it. It blends with me.
Hear, see, and feel. I kind of have all three of those senses. However, for me, I find it's really important, especially because you answered one of the questions. It was, how long can a spirit come through, or, is there a certain time if they're newly passed? Now, I find for me, like Gordon said, if we lose somebody and they've only been gone for a week or 2 days, it's not that they can't come through for me. However, I find that they really want the soul in human physical form, to go through the grieving process. And
yeah, there is that.
Yeah,
yeah,
I always say, wait about 6 months before you try to connect. Give yourself some time to heal. So for me, it's because I want you to be able to receive what they're telling you. I want you to be able to hear it. And sometimes when we're engulfed in all that grief and emotion, it's very hard for us to get what they're trying to tell us. Because for me, readings aren't just about, hey, you can connect with your loved one. It's about healing, love, and transformation, and understanding that love never dies, and that there is life after death, and we'll always have that soul connection.
You have hit the nail so much on the head. I couldn't have put it better myself. I mean, it's not about the message. Because, when I used to work for churches in the UK, you get a lot of people coming to the services. It's almost on a circuit, and they're just waiting for the message. It's not about, there is obviously the message, yes, but the actual message is, look, we are here. We are getting on with our own daily business, like picking up the phone. And that's what the message is about. It's not about, oh, is there life after death? To me, it's a knowledge. I've got absolutely no qualms on it whatsoever. Otherwise, I couldn't do my work. But it's some of the message. I suppose it's a mind-blowing thing, because when you really take on board that you don't die, your whole life changes. And I think it can be very difficult sometimes to take that on board. You don't actually die. You just transition. You transition, as simple as that. What more can I say? What a wow factor that is. That takes some getting your head around.
From physical to non-physical. I mean, it's, we lose this body, and we go into non-physical energy. And I always tell people, and I don't know how you feel about this too, Gordon, but I feel mediumship is a real gift. If your loved one comes through and you're given a message, every time you have a reading, don't expect them to come through, because they're not
doing other things.
Yeah, they got other things to do. So I feel like, and like Gordon said, we can all have signs and symbols, and spirit shows us every day that they're with us. We just have to be open enough to be able to receive. And for me, that's where meditation comes in, be able to clear the mind. And
that's another interesting point that's come up there. I see Teresa has said Surviving Death on Netflix. Watch it. I find that a brilliant series. And the reason I find it very good is because, there's a lot of old stuff in there. You know, Peter Fenwick, I mean, he's written a book, I think it's called Happy to Die. It's, you know, because it's actually from he works at a university not far from where I used to be in Southampton, and they spent 40 odd years researching near-death experiences, which is, you know, something else. And there's Sam Parnia. I mean, if you Google him, I mean, he's another doctor that has spent ages looking at near-death experiences and collating all these things together. Jim Tucker has looked at, you know, Indians and all different religions of children that have died and come back and reincarnated. Soul Survivor is another good book to read. But I think the first thing that show has been a first for me is that they have actually done it without a bias, because you see some mediums that work, some ideas that work, and some ideas that don't work. And yet they still filmed a lot. And I think that is absolutely brilliant. It is so unbiased and just gives you a look at the whole lot, because you can get very confused, you know. And, you know, I won't say I hate, but I really do not like the magicians, etc., that think, convinced that it's a magical act. It's not. You know, it makes our job very, very difficult. And of course, obviously, you do get some strange people doing it, I admit. But the fact is, when you look at everything, the whole evidence, and you have to decide for yourself, life goes on, and you will come to that conclusion. And that, to me, is the big game changer. That is the bit that changes the whole lot, changes your philosophy, changes the way you think about life, and changes the way you relate to other people, because it's not a belief. It's not something that is shoved down your throat like a religion. It is something that you open your mind up to and live with.
Absolutely.
That's all I can say. It won't take the grief away. That's one thing I'd be very good in saying that, Colin, because grief is grief. It's like saying it won't take rehab away if you've got an addiction of some description. You know, you've got these bits the human body has to go through, but reincarnation and all that sort of thing, it all comes back with a full circle. That's why I say explore it. You know, astrology, tarot, numerology, mediumship, they're all linked. They're all linked, and they're all there, and it's fantastic.
Tina Trott, she's making a comment. She said, my husband passed away in 2011. I have seen Charla for readings, and it's been very comforting, but I still struggle with his passing. Well, of course you're going to. You know, because we have a reading and we're able to connect with your loved one's energy, and that's what I'm trying to talk about. That doesn't alleviate the grieving process. You know, and I'm sure you'll agree, Gordon, just because you get a message, you still have to go through that grieving process. And, you know, but our loved ones, I find in spirit, in non-physical energy, they don't want us to depend on them. I have so many people.
No, absolutely
not.
It's exactly the same as phoning.
Yeah, they don't really care, because they're not physical anymore. You do what is best for you. But Tina, yes, you're still going to go through the grieving process, and it doesn't matter. Some people can you know, they grieve for 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years. I always say there's no time limit on grief. You know, we all.
I mean, I hear exactly what you say, and some people, you know, would say, "Oh, go to a medium, yeah, you can get the answer." You cannot get the answers. We cannot give you a magic wand. I mean, I think this is probably where we come under attack from magicians and other people saying, you know, you this, that, and the other. We cannot give a magic answer. What we can give, and I say this in most of my readings, if you come to me not knowing what you're going to expect, but you walk out that door thinking, wait a minute, I don't think life is so terminal as people make out. I've done my job. I'm not here to convince you. I'm not, neither is Carla. I know you're not. All we're doing is we've been born and given a gift. And I do believe what you say. Mediums are basically born. And it's up to you then to, like an artist is potentially born, or a scientist is born. It's just what you'll come to do on this life. That's your sole purpose. And hopefully along that route, someone can take you to one side and show you how to do it, because you still need to be shown how to do it. There's a way, and you know, you can't just, you know, you need some form of training, but the ability has to be there. And believe me, it can be very, very frustrating. I know Carla would agree with me, because you've got all this thing going on. Until someone explains it to you, you feel that you're going mad, because you're able to make, so predictions, that comes under a different thing. But you're feeling all these things when you come into the room with someone. Someone will walk into the room, you can't just say, oh, of course, I got your father here. You know, because some people bring the people in with them because they are so
Absolutely.
close. And love, I
Stop.
think, is the key. You know, listen to musicians. You know, you look at the likes of John Lennon, Bob Dylan, all these people. What are they wanting? Paul McCartney have one thing in common. They just say, I woke up.
And I wanted to
Spirit
stop you a minute. When you said that, I had a question from Cindy Barr. She says, why do some spirits come to one family member as opposed to another? Example, daughters. Well, for me, I can tell you from my perspective, and then Gordon, I'd like to hear from yours. But for me, I feel that the non-physical energy comes to the person who needs it the most, who is going to gain the most healing, or who's having the most struggle. And not to mean, you know, because I'll get that a lot. I'll get that, you know, maybe a father comes through to a daughter in a reading and doesn't come through to maybe a wife or maybe to a son. I feel like whoever needs it the most is who gets it. You know, and that doesn't mean that they don't love you or they won't come through at another time, or it's just that maybe that person can benefit from what's being said more than perhaps another family member.
Absolutely. I mean, again, I come back to a couple of stories. I mean, because I've been doing this 40 odd years, I mean, I know, you know, you've been similar. You're very, very, very experienced. That's what I want to say. And so you start to come up with stories that you think, wow, that is amazing. I mean, some of the stuff that's happened to me and that I dread when especially when I'm doing, you know, doing a demonstration. That's what they call it, demonstration. When I do a demonstration, is that, you know, the message you're giving is not for anybody in the room, but it is for a friend of somebody in the room. And that makes because you get some little lady put around, well, I know my brother's sister, that applies, well, give them the message, you know, and that's great. Now, what it does, if there's anybody in the room, I mean, I'm the biggest skeptic there is, believe me. I come into this with feet dragging. But what often happens with me is I will be in the audience and a medium will come to me and I'll be saying, no, absolutely not. I can give you one example where a medium came to me and he said he was in between two people and he said, well, I think I'm with you because the bloke's got a beard. And I said, well, forget it then, because we don't have beards in our family. No one's got beards. Went home, phoned my mother. Oh yes, there was this one person. So what he's doing, he's giving a message to me that is only when I sit back and look at everything that was given that I can actually say, well, you know what, you were 100% right. But at the time, I would have said absolutely no. And I feel that is some of the most important evidence, if you can call it evidence, that you can ever get, that the spirit world are trying to get you and say, look, we're going to get you any way we can, whether it's because you're expecting your dad to come through or your mum to come through. But if there's a real pressing need, love overcomes everything, and we will get through to you in some shape or form. So you might be giving a reading to somebody else, but you'll find that it applies to you and gets you your answers. And that's what it's all about sometimes, is about the answers, because, you know, this world and this life is particularly hard for many people. And when you pass to the spirit world, a lot of that disappears. And what they want to do is to help you through, like you'd help a child through school. I can't do the maths, I can't do the English. That's what the spirit world are there. They're there to coach you. They're there to give you enthusiasm. They're there to give you, to say, think outside the box. You know, it's not about going to work. It's not about getting the car, because that's what you're conditioned to do. When you take the conditioning away, you actually can enjoy life. And that can often be the message from spirit, as well as you live, you know.
And those
it's very, very deep.
And those of you, I see a lot of you out there that, you know, wanting to develop, look, you know, it took Gordon and myself many years to develop. We didn't just wake up one day and say, hey, you know, I see dead people. At least that didn't happen to me. You know, I was aware that I had that gift. However, you know, it takes years of training the mind and setting in circles and meditation. And I always tell my students, you will get out of it what you put into it. So, you know, if you're
Yeah.
meditating once a week, and you're doing it once every 6 months, it's kind of like going to the gym. You know, you're not going to gain much from it. You know, it's a commitment, a lifetime commitment of service. It's really, really hard work, folks.
It is. And there was another article, not an article, but a comment that was made about art. I can't see where it was now, saying after her husband, I think, had died, she had come through with art. Well, I want to say something about art. Art is very much like meditation. Now, I do a lot of art, and I didn't do art until around about 2018 when I had a road traffic accident, and I had a big download as far as past lives and astrology, and I channeled a whole load of stuff, which again was fairly new for me. But art came in with a vengeance. And I can tell you that if your mind is in the right place, your mediumship will be in the right place, as will your art be in the right place. And you'll find, like with this, it is like a radio message or a telephone message, that when the signal's weak, and you try harder and harder. It actually works by trying less and less. And it's the same with art. You'll go through places where you can't even draw a stick insect, and then other places where you can draw the Mona Lisa without any trouble at all. It means if you can't do it, it means that you're getting too stressed or too close to a problem, exactly the same as the spirit world. And they will work with you with art as well, because you don't realize what you're doing. And that's the way they want to come in. They want to sneak in, because they can't come in when your mind is what they call the monkey mind. You know, when your mind is concentrating, oh, I've got to do this and I've got to do that. No, I'm doing a bloody tax return. It won't work. You have to be out of it. So walking, vacuuming, knitting, anything that takes your mind, and of course art does as well. And then the spirit will come through. You'll be surprised what you draw. Very surprised what you draw and what you feel.
Yeah, and you know, I find that when you don't try so hard, you just kind of let it go. That's
yes, that's right. Yeah.
Flows in. And you know, folks, once we get done with this pandemic, we offer a lot of great workshops, and we're going to try to incorporate Gordon in on some of the workshops, you know, so we'll have workshops on psychic development and mediumship and what have you. But yeah, it's, you know, it's something for me I love, but it's a big responsibility, and you know, it's hard work.
It is. Yeah, it is. There's another guy that's on here. I don't know if you find him, guys, called Keith Gullett. I think you answered one of his questions, and it's in here. Is it ever because spirit's need is greater to get a message through, rather than who on the earth plane would benefit? I mean, the answer to that one is the spirit work in a very strange way, and I do know Keith. And one thing I would say, he's an amazing healer. But why is he amazing? Because there is this not say reticent to believe, but you know that it is automatic, because the guy isn't trying. I've known him for a number of years, and I've known a number of clients that he has spoken to, and it's like, well, I know I can do it, but I don't quite know how or why it works. And the more you question it, the more difficult it becomes. So it really is about just letting go. So all of you guys out there, just letting go. And dream state is the most wonderful state. I go to bed every night and I just say to the spirit world, come on in, come on in. And when I ask them to come in, I get lucid dreams. When I say, no, not tonight, thanks. I know I get a normal sleep and I just dream about normal things, or don't dream at all. So that's where you'd start. That's really where you start to get your answers to. So, put a notepad beside the bed, ask your questions before you go.
And Gordon, we've already been on an hour, and we've kind of spent the whole time on medium. But I just want to reach out. If people want to get a reading with you, now you do astrology, tarot, mediumship, I'm assuming. You want to get artwork done, a piece of work, commission work. And I'll tell you guys, I will post them later on my Facebook page. I've had, I don't know, Gordon, maybe 5-6 pictures done with you. Yeah. I love it. He's very reasonable, but how do they do that? Is there a number they can call?
The best one is to connect with me on Gordon Roberts Spirit Medium. That's the public page. There is another Gordon Roberts page, which is the sort of home page, private page. But Gordon Roberts Spirit Medium, if you Google that, it will put you on to me, and you can message me. Now, I suppose I'm different from most. Mediumship is my main part. And again, you know, how did I get to that? Because I was messing around and a lady came up to me and said, you shouldn't be doing this, you should be a medium. And she was a minister, similar to you. I believe you're a minister as well, yeah. I said, well, what's mediumship? You know, I was in my early 20s, something like that. And that's when I got into a circle and studied there for 4 or 5 years and was shown everything about mediumship. But on the back of that, I also do, of course, tarot, which is another way of looking at things. So tarot is if you've got a well, you also work with spirit, because that was the one big problem when I learned tarot. The lady said, well, yeah, you've got the reading right, but the cards don't marry up with what you're saying. And I never really thought anything about it. But tarot is for looking at things from a different viewpoint, and the way the tarot works in effect is that it shows you from another viewpoint. So we do tarot. I do astrology as well, because it depends on what you come to me for a reading for. You know, if you want to know about past life, supposing you've got phobias in this life, or you've got something you can't work out in this life, then often astrology, because it will show you what your past life is and what you're supposed to be doing in this life. Whether you do it or not, it might take many lifetimes, but that's astrology. You can tie it up with numerology. Astrology is also good for finding business partners, finding what your soul. Lots of different. Reading is never a reading with me. I tend to do sort of a real shakedown and look at every single aspect. Mediumship I do, because obviously people want to come through and say hi if they're about. And so, but mediumship is then to say, look, the spirit world exists. All this stuff is real, so I combine it into one area. And if you want to know more about yourself, numerology I do as well. But when you come to me for a reading, I generally do about an hour, and it is like a general physical. It's like going to your doctor and saying, well, tell me what about yourself. And that's what I do. So
you can learn more about Gordon on his website, which is www.gordonrobertonline.com. He has an interesting stories on there, and one of the things
well, this is interesting. Sorry interrupting you, but Kelly says my phone has died. I hope I didn't miss a message, and so much energy. So yes, I mean, that is another, like, Mercury retrograde at the moment in Aquarius, which is to do with phones and computers and stuff, and we've had no end of trouble with that since we've been talking. But that's a good sign that spirit are around you. Often I will get that. Charla gets it as well. The phone is fully charged, and all of a sudden, boom! I used to work on television. They drain the batteries on the cameras. Where did that go? What's because you're working, But sorry, I interrupted you,
Gordon, because you're in the UK. For me, a phone reading is no different than if you're studying in person. I'm dealing with energy. I'm dealing with spirit. Gordon and I are connected with your loved ones, and they're not sitting in front of us. So it's about a blend. So we can work over the phone as well as, in person.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely right. Yeah. Gordon, does one reading with you include the various ways of looking at things? Tarot, numerology? Yes. No, they're all separate. They're all in together, unless you've got specifics. Because when I get with someone, I will figure out the best way to work with you. So there's no one particular way. It might just be pure mediumship. On the other hand, it might just be astrology. It might be tarot.
I always say a reading is like a box of chocolate. You never know what you're going to get. So, absolutely right. So Gordon, we'll be, it turned out all about mediumship, but that's okay. We'll be doing this again, guys, and we'll maybe have it about psychic things next time. Yeah. We'll kind of pick different topics as long as you guys are liking this and are interested. So again, if you're interested in the reading with Gordon, you can contact him through Gordon Roberts Spirit Medium on Facebook. Go in and give that a like. If you're interested with the reading with me, you can go to my website, www.tarotimpressionsbycharla.com. Also call our office at 717-321-6671 to get scheduled. We'd like it if you go in, follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, Twitter. We both have accounts on that as well. And guys, I hope that you, this was kind of our first virtual visions. So I hope that you got some you liked it and you got some, for those of you who got some messages. And even if you didn't get a message, I think that we can be inspired by other people's messages as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think a good one will be to do a Zoom where we can invite somebody in and then you can actually show how it's working. I mean, that'd be fun, absolutely fun. Because it's, it's off the cuff, isn't it?
We'll have to kind of set up a Goom. Yeah, right. We'll have to set up a Zoom gallery to where we can actually all kind of be in the room together, kind of like a regular gallery or a demonstration, to do for the mediumship. So Gordon, it was my pleasure. And we're going to be doing this again. Hopefully we can kind of make it a regular thing.
That'd be fabulous. Absolutely. Yeah.
We hope that you guys have a great weekend, and it was wonderful connecting to all of you. And this was kind of new for us too, because I'm really saying, doing mediumship through this is a little hard for me. But we tried our best there. So anyway, you guys have a great weekend. Gordon, thank you, and we'll be in touch.
My pleasure. Lovely to work with you, Carlos.
Hey guys, go in and look at his artwork, and I will go ahead and post my pictures that Gordon has done. He's done all three of my shepherds. He even did a portrait of my husband and a shepherd for his birthday, which he loved. So I can really vouch for Gordon, and I can vouch for his work. It's just truly, truly amazing. So thank you again, Gordon. Thank all of you guys. We'll be posting this on the Facebook page. Please share it out, and we'll be back again soon. Bye, guys.
Brilliant. Bye, guys. Bye.